making sure the Defense Department can deal with the major threats coming from Russia and China, providing assistance for the Ukrainians to defeat the Russians. That's the number one priority for the United States right now, according to most Republicans. That's sort of how we see the challenges confronting the country at the moment.
Okay, I know you're probably annoyed with that, probably rolling your eyes, probably, oh my gosh, this guy sucks. But we're in a race. That is our challenge right now. We are in a race. We are in a race to get rid of the old Low-T GOP before the communists who are behind the wheel can jet the car off the end of the cliff. That is our race. Can we do it? Yes, we can get rid of the Low-T GOP. We've had a lot of success, actually, in recent years. These various loser senators and congressmen retiring and losing primaries. So we've had a lot of success. Can we get rid of enough of them in time? Because they are the wall. They are what stands between us and fighting back against the communists. Many, probably myself included, would tell you that's actually their purpose. They view it as their purpose, being the controlled opposition. We can't ever hit the brakes on the car, put it in reverse, and start heading the other direction while Mitch McConnell and the Low-T GOPers remain in the Senate and the House of Representatives. So our great challenge isn't necessarily to stop the communists, because we can't even attempt to stop the communists while the Low-T GOP remains in control of the GOP. Our big challenge is getting rid of these guys. That is our challenge. I'm about to read for you, courtesy of our friend of the show, Dan Bishop, I'm about to read for you a bunch of the things that are in this horrific $1.7 trillion omnibus bill. I'm going to read that for you in a second. And while I read you the list of things that are in this bill, I want you to watch this little clip of Mitch McConnell, and I want you to burn this into your mind. This is the leader of the GOP in the Senate. What chance do you and I have to fight back against the communists when he looks at a bill like this and he stands with it?
So, admittedly, I'm pretty proud of the fact that with a Democratic president, a Democratic House, and a Democratic Senate, we were able to achieve, through this omnibus spending bill, essentially all of our priorities.
All of our priorities. Let's check in on those priorities. Again, thank you, Dan Bishop. $410 million for the border. That's good, right? Except if you look into it, that's the border in the Middle East. Oh, no. They allocated money for the border here in the United States of America, but they actually specified, I swear on my life, I'm not making this up. This is Mitch McConnell's priorities. They specified that the money they give to Border Patrol here in America cannot be used to secure the border. On my life, that's real. I'm not making that up. Oh, salmon. The word salmon appears, according to Dan Bishop, 48 times in the bill, $68 million for salmon, $3 million for bee-friendly highways, $65 million in two programs for Senator Leahy. And wait, this is super important. We get a building, federal building, named for Nancy Pelosi, $3.6 million for Michelle Obama Trail, $524 million for diversity, equity, and inclusion, and structural racism-focused NIH subdivision. I just want to make sure, I'm going to pause on that for a brief moment. NIH, that's the National Institute of Health. This bill allocates $500 million to take an organization that is supposed to be focused on disease, yeah, they've done a great job at that, and create a brand new division at the NIH that focuses on diversity, equity, and inclusion, communism, cultural Marxism. 500 plus, $500 million, supported by Mitch McConnell and 21 Republicans, $500 million to focus on cultural Marxism, to pay for, you paying for cultural Marxism. I'm not done. $477,000 for anti-racist training from the Equity Institute, good grief. $3 million for an LGBTQ museum in New York City. Gender programs in Pakistan, $200 million for a gender equity fund. $7.5 million to better understand domestic radicalization phenomenon. Guess who they're focusing on there? With an added $1 million for gun violence research. This is a bipartisan bill. I want you to remember that in the truest sense of the word as I go through this. This is not one of those ones where they break off Mitt Romney and get him to vote for it and then say, hey, bipartisan, we got one Republican. This is a bipartisan bill in the truest sense of the word. Well, let's continue, shall we? Let's take a walk through this. $535 million in funding for liberal media, including NPR. $25 million for the House of Representatives to have diversity and inclusion. $268 million to help fund Planned Parenthood. That's the Republican Party's priorities. $268 million for Planned Parenthood to continue to murder babies. $11.33 billion for the FBI. That's an increase. $1.75 billion for the ATF. $2.63 billion for U.S. attorneys. And by the way, there's a specific thing in there that this will be focused on January 6th. That is right. The Low-T GOP, the GOP establishment, is trying to not decrease, not trying to disband the FBI. They're trying to increase their funding so they can continue the political witch hunt against their own base. So I'm going to play this for you. Mitch McConnell and his priorities. I'm going to play this for you really quickly. Let me ask you, are these your priorities?
So, admittedly, I'm pretty proud of the fact that with a Democratic president, a Democratic House, and a Democratic Senate, we were able to achieve, through this omnibus spending bill, essentially all of our priorities.
Okay. And so obviously he's being pressed on, okay, what do you mean your priorities? And he's doing, they're all going to do, all of them, every one of these GOP losers who votes for this, they're all going to do the thing they do so often. Just like the communists, they're going to use your values against you because you probably have steam coming out of your ears and there's like a blood vein pulsing in your forehead right now as I read through this entire list. And they know that. They know about all the corruption in here. They know about what a disaster this is. They understand that. So what are they going to do? They're going to look around and they're going to know, well, I'm dealing with patriots here. We'll tell them it's about the troops. Of course it's about the troops.
Senators have two options this week, just two. We will either give our armed forces the resources and the certainty that they need, or we will deny it to them.
Are you going to deny the troops? It's about the troops. I mean, yeah, we're building gay houses in New York City, but it's about the troops. Don't you love the troops? These people are the worst people on the planet. They're just as, if not more evil than the communists. And we are in a race. We will never, ever, ever win the fight against the communists while these people continue to be a blocking force. They are blocking us from even beginning the fight.
Support the First TV today and get instant access to exclusive specials like Who is Ron DeSantis, the history of FBI scandals, and America's worst presidents. Visit thefirsttv.com/support or download the First TV app to become a supporter and start watching today.